violence in the streets because of course it was gonna happen, okay? Antifa needs to get out there and stretch their legs, and if you don't think it's gonna be worse overnight tonight, well, I got news for you. It means you're stupid, because you can't quite remember what happened a couple years ago. The way that this pattern works, everybody assembles, and they only had a small amount of time, because, oh my god, are they actually gonna have the balls to do it? And yeah, it looks like Roberts actually found some. I guess his wife must have been in town, and he had an opportunity to reach inside of her purse and throw them into his tighty whities, but even still, the way that it worked last year, okay, everybody would assemble, and whoever showed up Friday, oh, we just have a little get-together, a little bonfire out in the park, and then the death and destruction happens Saturday night. So maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about the celebrity spurg out that's happening right now, because it's delicious. But we might have a different angle to take when it comes to all of that stuff at the end of the day. But until then, we'll just talk about what has happened in certain places overnight the previous night. Okay, so pro-abortion activists, as you can see there, I'm sure that those people dressed in black, completely covered up, completely and totally unrecognizable, just some immutable characteristics that you can obviously notice with some of them, okay, which is a rare sight to see. Normally it's just a bunch of misguided white kids with gender studies degrees, but even still, yes, just a couple of their immutable characteristics. Normally they're wide boys, and boys of about, I don't know, 5'9" to about 5'4", somewhere in that area. Nobody's over 6 feet tall, let's be honest, okay? Because that would require testosterone in the men. They're out there to play and, I don't know, make nice or just warm up the streets. And so let's take a look at what we got. Pro-abortion activists protest in cities, burn American flag, because yes, of course, that's their go-to, because literally rights are starting to be stripped away from everybody, so now the Constitution doesn't mean anything, and our body, our choice, and we take to the streets, and whatever the hell else the NPC programming just has from this week, okay? It's always just going to be the same nonsense, because these people just don't have any creativity in their being. Maybe that was in the uterus that they're not allowed to clear out now because of a couple of bad decisions, but it's funny, right? And they're all unironically out there just yelling at the top of their lungs, you can't tell me what I'm supposed to do with our bodies. But then what? 6 months, a year ago at this time, it's like, just get the jab, just wear the mask. Funny how there's a nice ideological consistency out there amongst these well-educated, which is actually not a dig at them. They are very well-educated. Oh, they're very well indoctrinated at these education facilities. So anyways, yeah, pro-abortion activists began to assemble in cities across America on Friday afternoon to protest the response to the Supreme Court overturning Roe V. Wade, a seminal ruling that made abortion legalized nationwide. And it's still the case, and we're going to break that down a little bit because, of course, it is. The activists congregated in New York, Washington, Los Angeles, San Francisco, as well as Chicago, Seattle, and other cities. Yes, we have some specific footage from what went down there, and the only one that they mentioned that I have actually got to follow through on is Los Angeles, and the LA Police Department just having a regular one. Okay, as you can see, some bitch was starting to get lippy, and she needed to be have some wood shampoo applied, but we didn't unfortunately catch that on footage. But yeah, no, you're a woman, you can't do that to a woman. I'm allowed to be here. Well, don't fuck around with the cops, and then you won't end up on the fucking ground like couple of these other motherfuckers down here. Feel free to watch that at your own leisure, but yeah, no, that's not even close to being the worst of what happened there. It was these less than attractive individuals. Okay, there's always two consistents here. They always get naked or in various states of disrobe. Yes, there were some bitches with some god-awful titties out, and just, it's like, oh no, oh, what am I ever gonna do to not shoot up in somebody who is out there in Dallas? Like, oh yeah, no, I'm sure the guys were just lining up, okay? But, you know, hey, if you could get your blonde friend from behind you out of your orbit, that would be much appreciated. But no, we got to take to the streets. We got to take to the Supreme Court justices' homes, because that's not direct intimidation. That's not a direct threat or anything like that. Like what Samantha Bee. I said that we talked about, or that we might talk about celebrities tomorrow, so I just figured we might as well talk about Samantha Bee right now, because she used to be famous. and then Jon Stewart quit The Tonight Show. But she's saying, oh yeah, go to wherever Justice Alito is ever having, or wherever he's at a restaurant, and you need to accost them until the end of time. Something to that effect, or it was probably more vulgar, stupid, or whatever. It's nice that you can make such blanket threats out there. These people are unhinged, and yeah, I'll probably look forward to be doing that one tomorrow. But anyways, yes, enraged pro-choice. No, you're pro-baby killers, because that at the end of the day, that's what all of these arguments boil down to. We just want to kill kids, and it's like, okay, so you're a murderer. Great, wonderful. If you can reconcile with that, we might have a conversation here, but still, you can go get your suck somewhere else, or just, take steps before all that stuff happens. Anyways, protesters vowed to descend on the homes of 6 conservative Supreme Court justices on Saturday after posting their addresses online in the wake of Roe v. Wade being overturned. Yeah, no, I'm probably incredibly sure that all of those posts are still up there on Twitter, because equal application of the rules. What's that? Okay, but Elon Musk bought Twitter. Yeah, everything's not fucking finalized yet, stupid. And if you think he's gonna be the shining beacon on the hill when it comes to free speech, we got some old clips of his to watch. So anyways, pro-abortion group Ruth sent us. You should read some of her dissents. But anyways, started circulating the justice's address in the hours after the High Court struck down the landmark abortion case Friday as a violent protest broke out nationwide. Oh yes, very violent. Dozens of protesters show up outside of Justice Clarence Thomas' home overnight, chanting, "No privacy for us, no peace for you." Thanks, again, just reusing old talking points because, of course. And, I don't know, man, by their logic, like, okay, if they're not going to be consistent, I'll at least be consistent in my criticism of their actions here, okay? I thought if you ever disagreed with a black person, that means you're racist. So you can take a look at all of those racists out there protesting in front of Clarence Thomas's home and accusing his wife, Ginny, of being an insurrectionist. That was funny. I wonder what they mean. I wonder if they're going to apply that label to the same people over in, say, Arizona. We'll get to them shortly. The protesters were planning to target Thomas's home again on Saturday. Oh, okay, cool. Bring rope and bleach or whatever the hell else you want to, you bunch of intolerant bastards, as well as the residents of Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, Samuel Alito, John Roberts, and Neil Gorsuch, according to posts on social media. Yeah, no, that's nice. Now let's just look at pictures and shit, because these all look like stable individuals, and that's, I really don't know. I'm not even trying to make a joke here. Is that a dude? And it's like, it could be a really effeminate, man, but at least that has a better grasp on reality than this obviously very shook individual right here, because, oh my god, that means abortion's illegal and it's just nationwide concubines. I was like, okay, whatever. But I fully and 100% expect somebody to, just like with Justice Kavanaugh, totally take a shot at Clarence. Fucking nothing will surprise me at this point, and it'll just be reported on page 9 in the fucking newspaper. But we'll wait for all of that stuff to happen, because he's made some other spicy comments, because that dude is working on fucking demon time, and it is hilarious. But like I made reference before, Arizona actually had what would actually qualify as an insurrection if once again we're doing equal application of standards, which is, tenuous grasp, but whatever. Police declare unlawful assembly, deploy tear gas after Roe protesters disrupt Arizona state legislature. And we got some video of that. We don't need any audio or anything, but as you can see, there were people there previously trying to breach into the Capitol building in Arizona there, but thankfully, they got properly dispersed. But yeah, no, all of the teenagers that were there, they had all of their cameras, so they knew exactly what they were doing. And they thought that they were gonna change the world there. But again, you can feel free to go get your big suck until September 29th or something like that. Just go to California, or, well, chances are, if you're protesting in Arizona, you're probably from California, or just, I don't know, travel a little north to Utah. Maybe not for the time being. Not too sure about that. Or just hop on over to New Mexico. You're literally sandwiched between two Democratic shitholes where you can feel free to get the big suck if that's what you're after. Police deployed tear gas late on Friday in efforts to disperse protesters who gathered at the Arizona Capitol building in Phoenix in the wake of ruling by U.S. Supreme Court that tossed out Police declared the gathering an unlawful assembly after several among the thousands and thousands of protesters began hitting glass walls and doors of the state Capitol building. Like Razorfist points out, this is what they were doing prior to the tear gas getting shot out. So, as he points out very eloquently, the Arizona Capitol last night, I seem to remember Ashley Babbitt being shot in the neck, killed for less. Yeah, no, exactly. But she was shut up. She just needed a 106th term abortion. Shut up. Anyways. Afterward, SWAT members, the state's Department of Public Safety, fired tear gas from the building to disperse the protesters, KPHO-TV reported. And we seen it wasn't immediately known if there were injuries or arrests. Boy, I hope so. Lawmakers in Arizona Senate were forced to halt their meeting temporarily around 8:30 p.m. due to the commotion outside. Yeah, no, exactly. Last time we seen anything like this, it was eventually labeled by a bunch of activists as an insurrection. So I've yet to see any of those headlines that are out there, but I won't exactly wait and hold my breath. Senators proceeded to be huddled for about 20 minutes in the basement inside the building as they rushed to complete their 2022 session, said State Senator Martin Chiesa, a Democrat. Yeah, no shit. Stringing tear gas wafted through the Capitol afterwards via the system that circulates the air. Yeah, that's all nice, and there were probably some Democrats already in there crying, so at least now they had an excuse so they didn't look so stupid. But don't worry about it. Again, okay, overturning Roe v. Wade doesn't mean that abortion somehow just magically disappears if you're so inclined. And given the fact that like 98% of abortions are all fucking elective, if you have made a series of bad decisions or you decided to be awfully spiteful towards the potential baby father, you can just go ahead and pop over to one of these other states. But as of right now, abortion clinics start closing after Roe v. Wade ruling. They won't all be stopped or anything like that, okay? And like I mentioned a little bit yesterday, Alabama, 3 abortion clinics stopped performing abortions as providers face prosecution under the law dating back to 1951. Yeah, exactly. There are 26 or something like that. Actually, let's just go ahead and clear this up because there's somewhere in that neighborhood who already have pre-existing laws on the books, which were just one of those things that just had to get swept under the rug when Roe v. Wade was decided by the Supreme Court at the time. It's like, yeah, I know there's this 10th Amendment shit, but yeah, abortions? Yeah, no, exactly. So this is what's going to be the law of the land right now, and the rest of the states are either going to have to catch up or just, I don't know, fucking stay out of it for the time being and keep their clinics open. More than 24 states will move to restrict abortions following the Supreme Court's Friday ruling. The Guttmacher. All right, sounds German. I'm sure it's very good for your health. A research group says that 13 states have trigger laws that bar most abortions that will take effect immediately after the ruling Friday. Those are Arkansas, no shit, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. Yeah, Missouri and Texas specifically because those are the ones that, actually the Missouri lawsuit was the one that ended up triggering this entire windfall anyway. So it all depends exactly where you're all at in consideration to the life of the child. Okay, Texas, 6 weeks. Missouri, I think it's basically right now, but even still, consult your local legislature if you need further guidance on this stuff. 5 more states had respective bans on abortion for a time before Roe v. Wade in 1973. They include Alabama, Arizona. That's the one that goes into effect, okay? So right now, if you need an emergency scraping, you can still get it in AZ. So I don't know why they were so avarice to get into the Capitol. Oh, right, yeah, because they don't understand. The media is purposefully keeping them stupid on all this stuff, or they're just too unwilling to understand literally anything that's going on. Michigan, I'm sure that's probably somehow an affront to Gretchen Whitmer, so she'll be able to fix that. West Virginia and Wisconsin, sorry. Georgia, Iowa, Ohio, and South Carolina, according to the Institute, have laws that ban abortions after the 6-week mark. Those laws will be revisited after the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I'm going to take a wild guess that all 4 of them will probably be upholding that, or making it a little bit more restrictive. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Meanwhile, the legislatures in Florida, Indiana, Montana, and Nebraska appear likely to ban abortion based on previous and current efforts, the group says. Yeah, no, all of those check out as well. Overall, 26 of 50 states are likely or certain to ban abortion on the ruling being handed down on Friday, the Institute says. Okay, so what? A cunt hair over half of the states. Cool, great. So that means that 24 U.S. states are still going to have abortion. Okay, cool. Yeah, so exactly. Oh my God, the country, we're just going back. We're just rolling back all of the regulations and the rights of women. Yeah, no, exactly. And half of the country. Great, wonderful, fantastic. And as you can see, the places where all the people are, where everybody on that specific side of the aisle thinks that should have all of the voting power. You didn't see New York, you didn't see Jersey, you didn't see basically anywhere in the Northeast, okay, or down the West Coast. Yeah, no, exactly. Feel free to get the big suck down there. There could be, oh boy, there could be another very tumultuous time coming up, because like I stated before, Clarence Thomas is not giving a single fuck right now, and this dude I mostly just find this fucking hilarious at this point, okay? Because now I understand, okay? I just had this epiphany when I was exercising earlier today. It's like, why are Democrats just spazzing out so much? Oh, it's because it's just always projection, okay? They just always think that at the bottom of the slide, it's always, when it comes to conservative decisions, it's always at the end of the day going to be the most extreme thing. Oh, you don't like gun control? Well, that means that you just want cannons on everybody's front yard. No, nobody said that, but that would be cool and fun, I guess. It would really, anchor property rights. But anyways, still, why would you even bring that up? It's because all of their pet projects always end up at the bottom of the slippery slide, okay? Or it's not really a slide, it's more or less just a cliff where ideas just drop over and then immediately get right to the fucking bottom, because they always push everything to the extreme. That's what they're all about. And Clarence, seeing where things are going right now, and realizes that, some things maybe exactly weren't decided all that well when it comes to the Supreme Court. Maybe we should go back and take a look at some specific rulings that went down. Supreme Court should reconsider rulings on same-sex marriage and contraception. Huh. Like I said, if you were hearing some spurging out right now when it comes to abortion being getting rid of in the United States, we're a first world country. Yeah, no, that's nice and everything. We already laid out that that's not the case at all. But even still, okay, maybe those things, maybe just put on the rational lenses a little bit and take a look at this stuff. Maybe that's not within the purview of the Supreme Court to decide. Maybe that's for different Congresses, different legislatures, different houses, different state bodies to recognize, and not for the ruling of the court. The court was supposed to simply be there to interpret the law, not create any laws. That's why Roe was a bad decision, okay? And that's why it's gone. So now Clarence, considering, is like, I only got a couple more. Hopefully, I just want this guy to be fucking supplemented with robot parts so he can be on the Supreme Court until the end of time. But you should revisit one of those old lawsuits against death. That would be nice. Just try and work that in, Clarence. So let's see what he's talking about. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas wrote Friday that the High Court should reconsider rulings on contraception, same-sex marriage, and same-sex marriage, with a solo concurring opinion released Friday that struck down Roe v. Wade. Wow, why isn't this getting more attention right now? Or maybe I'm just missing this. I wrote separately to emphasize a second, more fundamental reason why I wrote that no abortion guarantee lurking in the Due Process Clause. Thomas wrote, considerable historic evidence indicates that due process of law merely required executive and judicial actors to comply with legislative enactments and the common law when depriving a person of life, liberty, or property. With Friday's ruling, the court declines to disturb substantive due process jurisprudence generally, or the doctrines application in other specific contexts. As he wrote, adding that cases like Griswold v. Connecticut, giving the right of married persons to obtain contraceptives, as well as Lawrence v. Texas, there it is, a ruling on the right to engage in private consensual sexual act. That was like the last sodomy law that was on the books that kept gay people from butt fucking in Texas. Hilarious. And Oberfeld v. Hodges, the right for same-sex marriage. Yes, exactly. I remember that. That was just decided in 13 or 15. I can't quite remember. God, decided in 13 or 15. What am I describing? An encounter with Ezra Miller? I agree that nothing in the court's opinion should be understood to cast doubt on precedents that do not concern abortion. Thomas added, while citing Alito's majority opinion released Friday, the justices argued that based on the precedent, in future cases, we should reconsider all the court's substantive due process precedents, including Griswold, Lawrence, and Oberfeld. Yeah, exactly. He's seeing the creeping power of the Supreme Court, and he's like, we should probably cut this off because that's not what the Supreme Court's all about, okay? Again, how can Clarence Thomas be more of an impressive figure? I said figure. I'm not a Twitter user who deleted her own tweet, okay? The fact that it didn't get taken down by Twitter is fucking amazing. The one that I showed yesterday. So yeah, whenever the riots start to calm down just a little bit when it comes to abortion, because they're going to get worse overnight. I fucking well bet money on this. Expect this to start circulating out there, and also if those stupid fucking committee meetings that nobody's paying attention to decides to go whole hog on trying to get access to Justice Thomas's wife in order to get her to come testify, you know exactly why they're going to be doing this, because they're going to be putting that headline on Front Street. So I think it's hilarious at the end of the day. And still, just like with Roe, that's for different legislatures to decide. Or you could just get out of the business, okay? Okay, get government out of marriage, contraception, same-sex, any of those gimmicks, whatever people do behind their own closed doors. It's totally up to them, okay? If you're still stupid enough to get married in the year of 2022, that's your decision. Government has nothing to do with it. Makes it a little bit more of an appealing idea to get married if the government had no say in that kind of stuff. And then with contraception, no, that should not be regulated by the government, okay? Okay, that shouldn't be funded by anybody. It should be just something you can go and buy. Imagine that, huh? Just government finally abdicating some of its powers. That's why they hate Clarence Thomas so much. That and, you know, he's of that color of skin and he's not on their side. That's what they're big mad about. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.